Previously on Let's Play Steins Gate Zero.
This brings us to the end of your regularly scheduled Cold War. US, I'ma bomb you from Japan, WWWW, USSR, then we'll invade Japan, US. Oh shit, right now.
And now, back to everyone being sad.
Hello, everybody. Pokey here, with another episode of Steins Gate Zero. And, when we last left off, we had changed world lines, and we're at war right now, which is kind of scary, and I accidentally pressed the button that opened up the vocab, so we should do this now. W, a shortened version of the Japanese word for laughter. Warai, oh. Supposedly, it was first used in a non-Japanese online game. By adding a W to the end of a sentence, or placing it in the middle, you can indicate that you find the situation humorous. On anonymous internet message boards, adding more W's, such as www, can be used to increase the amount of laughter, or indicate that you're mocking an opponent. Examples of sentences, including W, are whoa, www, okay, www, and I'm www, getting www, excited www. Using W's in this way is sometimes called making grass grow because of the way they look. Okay. Net slang that means okay. Yeah, finally, people acknowledge you can't go around saying the letters okay, or writing the letters okay. The word is spelled O-K-A-Y. That's the way I spell it. Whatever. Iruma Base, like me? One of the Air Self-Defense Force's largest bases, located between Iruma and Sayama cities in Saitama Prefecture. It's home to 18 units and around 4,300 personnel. It is also the location of the Air Defense Command Headquarters Flight Group. Soviet Union, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, created in 1922. After the end of World War II, it began a long Cold War with America, but the Cold War ended in 1991. It consisted of Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. I was like, it's gonna get better from here on out. Nope. Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan. I'm so sorry for the people that I'm the places that I'm butchering. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Yeah, I have no idea about most of these places. That's the problem with U.S. education. We never talk about what's happening outside of our nation, so I don't learn anything about these places. Whatever. The reason it took a month to get to Okinawa, oh yeah, a month passed, to get to Okinawa, was that we were losing the war. Supposedly, the plan had been to ferry me by plane to Okinawa once I'd arrived at Iruma Base. But the constant bombings had slowed us down, so they gave up on the plane and decided I would escape to Kyushu by ground. Did I read that right? There was more than one attack by Soviet spies and assault teams. Some of the SDF soldiers protecting me died. But when I got to Sasebo, I was able to get on a maritime SDF escort ship and managed to escape to Okinawa. Why were they doing all this for me? It's because you're a time traveler. No matter how many times I asked, no one would answer. Okinawa in winter was covered in thick clouds. Come to think of it, I hadn't seen a real break in the clouds for a whole month. I was thinking about that when I was loaded into a van with dark-tinted windows that had come to pick me up from the port. Inside the car was not only the driver, but a middle-aged man sitting in the front passenger seat. He was very short, perhaps only around 150 centimeters tall. But he had the air of a military veteran, and even though he was fully dressed, I could tell he was extremely muscular. Once again, I gotta say, I'm I'm pretty sick, so that's why my voice sounds pretty weird. Ritaro Okabe, correct? I'm Shimoyama, with the Ministry of Defense's Intelligence Security Command. We're going to make a stop at the airport, and then head to the Okinawa Defense Bureau in Kadena. I'm sure you're tired from your long journey, but I'll have to ask you to hang in there a while longer. Right. Man, Taro's just dealing with this. Ugh. I'd heard that Tokyo had been destroyed. The major functions of the Japanese government were now headquartered out of the Okinawa Defense Bureau to allow for better cooperation with the American forces stationed nearby. That's what Shimoyama explained to me. In other words, the place I was heading to was the core of Japan's defenses. Once I arrived, would I understand why it was so important that all those soldiers were willing to die to protect me? The car stopped in front of Naha Airport for a while. And then I saw a surprising pair get aboard. Wait, are they people we know? Oh, they are. Okabe! That was not a good Yuki voice. Wow, it's really Okarin. You're Yuki and Nakase. I wasn't expecting to see them there. But they were the first people I knew who I'd met since coming to this world line. That alone was almost enough to make me cry. But still, I couldn't just sit there and be happy. What about Mayuri? Do you know where she is? She's fine. Yuki nodded, as if trying to make me feel better. She was just with us. Just with you? That's right, Mayushi and Rumiho and Luca and Kaie. We got to the airport this morning. We were all waiting because they said we could go to some place called the Defense Bureau where we'd be safe. They just said they'd take Fubuki and me there first. And then they had to get us inside this car where we found you. Anyway, I'm glad everybody's safe. Since Daru and Suzuo weren't mentioned, I was going to ask about them, but... Sorry, but can you talk about this later? Shimoyama cut me off, and the car started moving. Why can't we just talk while we're... the plan is for your families to arrive at the Okinawa Defense Bureau eventually. We already have them under our protection. Really? I'm so glad. Your other friends are all in the car behind us. You haven't been separated, so don't worry. I took a quick look and saw another identical van a little behind us. So Mayuri and the others were there? Then we'll see them later, right? Of course. Yuki let out a sigh of relief. But then I started to wonder about something else. Why were we split into different cars? This van could hold at least another 3 people. If we squeezed tight, it could easily hold everyone. Or was there some reason they put me, Yuki, and Fubuki into the same car? Are we the reading Steiners or whatever? I don't know. Now we're getting into pretty deep territory for theorization. The car drove alongside the Okinawa monorail for a while, and then went south down a wide bypass. It's so dark. Huh? What was that? Nothing, just, there are all these stores, but they're all dark. There were lots of franchise restaurants, big supermarkets, cafeterias for tourists, and rent-a-car places all jammed together along the side of the road. But all of them were dead silent, and their lights were turned off. Barely any of the street lights were turned on, and the only cars were Japanese and US military vehicles. I didn't see anyone out walking. There's a blackout in effect, as well as a curfew past 5 p.m. Okinawa may be safe, but this is still wartime. Things can't be like they were. I can't wait for the war to end and everything to go back to normal. Wartime, huh? Tell me, Okabe, the Okinawa you knew was a bright, fun place, even at night, wasn't it? Oh, I wouldn't know. I've never been to Okinawa before. That's a shame. Then I pray you get to come back for a good vacation sometime. This really is a nice island. The car headed up from the bypass over a land bridge, then to another road. We quickly came to a long tunnel. I actually wanted to ask the three of you some questions before we got to the bureau. That's why I have you riding with me. Huh? My guess was right. That means there was something you wanted to ask just the three of us. But why us three? I wasn't particularly close to Yuki or Fubuki. I'd only even started talking to them a few months ago. And then I shook my head. That was before the world line changed. Maybe things were different in this world line. I had no idea what my relationship was to anyone else in this world line. Since the SDF had been treating me so well, I didn't want to make Shimoyama suspicious. I decided it would be best to leave most of the talking to Yuki and Fubuki. Yuki Amane. Yes? Oh, she looks so scared. Shimoyama spoke to Yuki first. Yuki went stiff when her name was called. I could feel it even sitting next to her. You don't know where Itaru Ishida and his little sister are, do you? Little sister? That must be Suzuha. That would mean that even in this world line, Suzuha had come from the future and gotten to know Yuki and the others while pretending to be Suzuha. Oops, there's a typo. While pretending to be Daru's sister. Oopsies. And the SDF evidently didn't know where Daru and Suzuha were. No, Yuki fell silent and glanced over to me as if expecting help. But I didn't know where they were either. I didn't even have any memories of this world line, so I had no way of answering. But Yuki's attitude bothered me. It was as if she knew where they were and was deliberately hiding it, and that I was supposed to be hiding it too. I could figure that out. I'm sure Shimoyama could too. Strange tension filled the car. Yuki was trying to hide it? From whom? You're sure you don't know? Shimoyama turned around from the front passenger seat and asked again. I'm sorry. Yuki bowed her head in apology. But you were very close to him, weren't you? You were his lover, and yet you heard nothing? You know that cell phones don't work anymore, right? There are plenty of ways to... they're lovers this time. I just sort of let it pass me by. There are plenty of ways to get in touch with someone besides a cell phone. But I really don't... Nothing from his sister, either. Nothing. By the way, I'm told that you were researching something with Hishida Okabe. Huh? I wasn't sure how to react when the conversation suddenly turned towards me. Researching? Researching what? Uh-oh, if I panic, I'll make them suspicious. What were you researching? I would just have to give them the most harmless answers I could. It wasn't really research, it was more like inventions. Inventions? Like whether you could attach a CCD camera to a bamboo copter to do aerial photography. Or whether you could use the heat from a vacuum cleaner as a hairdryer. Oh, that's interesting. Then you weren't, say, making something unbelievable and running away from us so that we wouldn't find out what it was? Running away? Damn. I responded. That was a mistake. But did that mean that Daru and Suzuha were hiding from the SDF amidst all this chaos? The SDF had risked their lives to protect me over the past month. Should I be asking them for help? I got even more confused. If you don't know, then that's fine. We'll talk about Ishida and his sister some other time. Somebody, please tell me what the right answer is. How am I supposed to respond here? Katsumi Nakase, there was something else I wanted to ask you. Me? This time it was Fubuki's turn to jump up in her seat. No, don't get so nervous, it's nothing big. or so Shimoyama said, but Fubuki was clearly starting to get scared. Her reaction was strange. It was too strong. Maybe the self-defense forces weren't simply protecting us. For one thing, there was no way normal civilians like us merited such important treatment. But then, what were they after? No, I could guess. The time machine. This war started with Russia's time machine experiments. And of course, Nakabachi was involved. I'd learned from some of the soldiers that even in this world line he'd sought asylum in Russia. And Suzuo is a time traveler from the year 2036. If Suzuo was here in this era, that meant it was Daru who made the time machine that brought her here. If you had a time machine, you could change the outcome of this war. Blech. It would make sense if that's what the Japanese government thought. And if that was why they were trying to capture Daru, Suzuo, and their friends. Once I realized that, the whole situation started to feel terrifying to me. Was this car really headed towards the Okinawa Defense Bureau? And if it was, were they really going to keep us safe there? Alright guys, I'm afraid I'm going to have to end this video off here. I'm glad we finally see some familiar faces. That's a relief, at least. Yeah, I'm just excited to get on with this. My voice is getting a little bit... it's tough to do all these lame voices. So anyways, guys, I've been Pokey. This has been Steins Gate 0, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!